you kidding me? What a night for Spencer Knight. Take a look at this. Youngest playoff debuts in NHL history for goaltender Spencer Knight. Look at that. Kid's 19 years old, or 20 years old, and 35 days. Pardon me. He feels like a 19-year-old because we talked about him when he was 19, winning the World Juniors, shutting out Team Canada in that gold medal game. He had 3 shutouts in that game. A different magnitude, though, making your first career playoff start and doing it under these circumstances, facing the hottest team in the NHL, and you're having to keep your team's season alive. How'd he fare?
Incredible, man. Spencer Knight, welcome to the National. Are you kidding me? 20 years old. I looked at the names on that board that we just showed there. Spencer Knight was calm, composed, smooth, patient, positionally sound. I mean, for him to put up this type of a game and look that smooth with it and that efficient in his performance in a game of this magnitude, as you just said, against the defending Stanley Cup champs at 20 years old, fresh out of Boston College, fresh off the World Juniors, fresh off of being 4-0-0 in the National Hockey League prior to this game. I'm at 20 for an NHL goalie. It's unheard of.
Yeah,
that's why it's historic.
It's unbelievable.
That's part of why it's historic, as you mentioned earlier.
Before, yeah. The first goalie ever to play a college hockey game and an NHL playoff game in the same season. Spencer Knight, unbelievable performance.
It's incredible.
36 saves, and we assume he'll get the start coming up in Game 6.
Yeah.
Stu, when you talk about these Florida Panthers, there were a lot of additions made to this team in the offseason. We always talked about changing the culture down there. Patrick Hornquist might be the guy that did that, and this is the reason why they brought him in for big moments like this. He's playoff tested. He's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Your thoughts on Hornquist and his impact here in game number 5?
Yeah, once you get past the performance of Spencer Knight, you start looking elsewhere. There's lots of responsibility, lots of credit to go around to the rest of the skating roster for these Florida Panthers, JMO. And Patrick Hornquist really is kind of chief among the forwards for me. Had a chance to watch him really through all of his career while breaking into the NHL and establishing himself as an everyday NHLer. This is a guy that he kind of drags other folks. He drags teammates into the battle. Fearless. I don't know that there's a player in the game who does a more effective job kind of in and around the blue paint in front of the opposition netminder. And you saw throughout, from the opening drop of the puck through to the end of this one here tonight, he's making life miserable for Vasilevsky. Hornquist did a fabulous job for this group tonight in and around the front of the net. A terrific net front presence. And another late addition this year, Sam Bennett, an important figure in kind of getting things turned around for these Florida Panthers here tonight to stay alive in this Central Division matchup.
You talk about Hornquist making life miserable for Vasilevsky. On the other side, we raved about Spencer Knight, but getting a lot of help from the guys playing in front of him. Defensively, you said this was the team that we saw in the regular season. What was different tonight?
Positionally, the Florida Panthers were very different in this game. They did a better job in the neutral zone. For the most part, they played from the middle of the rink out. And I spoke to a couple former teammates that were down there at that game, texting with them here from the desk, and certainly got that same sentiment from them who were in the building. And they said, hey, this was a much better defensive performance, and certainly looked that way to us here in the studios in New Jersey. And by that, when you're positionally sound, when you're not chasing, they weren't able to get picked apart by Tampa the way Tampa's been able to do for the majority of this series, save for the 3-1 loss. This is a big part of why Florida has been able to close the gap on Tampa by way of the regular season that they had, because they have improved defensively, because they can score. You know that they have game breakers in Huberdeau and Barkov, of course. They're a deeper team now, especially with the addition of Bennett. But all that to say, this was the type of defensive game that they'll need to play if they want to extend this series. This was a really masterful defensive performance for them.